Hey lovelies, welcome back to Parenting and More. Here, all I do is help you make parenting easy while you raise confident, respectful, and responsible children that can thrive in this our changing world. I also help you teach your children how to be good readers in English. Now, today's topic is to address a particular concern that one of my community members raised. By the way, I have a private community, and if you would want me to answer your concerns and questions just like I'm doing this one, you may want to join us. The link is going to be dropped down in the comment section, in the description box, right? Okay, without further ado, let's get started. I want to believe that the fact that you're watching this means that you're already on the right path. You know deep down within you that yelling and spanking your children isn't right. And you feel that sadness, you feel that guilt after you do that, after that happens, yes? The fact that you recognize that is not right, the fact that you know what you're doing is not the right thing, and you're willing to learn and do better is already a huge step forward. And that says a lot about you as a parent, It shows that you care deeply about being a better parent. And that's something to celebrate, okay? Your kids are lucky to have you, and I celebrate you. Now, I'm saying this because I know a lot of parents are still in denial, right? They would justify their actions, even though they are the ones in the wrong, right? They would justify their actions, justify them yelling and spanking and all of the other harsh reactions, right? They'll blame it on their children's behavior. They'll say something like, if my child didn't act out, I wouldn't yell or hit him or her, right? Things like that. But the truth is that this is not really about your child's behavior, all right? Yelling and spanking usually have more to do with, with you than with your children. And these reactions are often tied to something deeper. We call it trauma response, all right? I know. The word trauma can feel heavy, okay? And I get it. When we hear the word trauma, we often think of something huge, like a tragic event has happened. And you might be thinking, but I haven't been through any devastating or tragic, anything tragic or anything devastating. How can this be trauma? All right, I know, because, this is how we think when we hear trauma or when somebody says trauma, right? But trauma isn't just about big life-altering events, or accident or a disaster happening, right? It can come from more subtle experiences that many people go through, especially during childhood, through adulthood, right? And that can impact the way your brain interprets situations, the way you process, the way your brain processes emotions, and the way you handle issues, right? So let's break it down. What is trauma? What is trauma? Trauma is anything that happens or that you experience that changes the way your brain processes information, the way you think or interpret a given situation. All right, it triggers an instant emotional reaction that feels overwhelming and out of control, and in turn it drives your action. All right, so you are not responding calmly or thoughtfully. Instead, you are automatically responding from a place of past experience, right? From a place of trauma. So your body reacts to these situations, this perceived threat, without your approval. Like, you feel out of control. You feel like it just happens. It's just, automatic, spontaneous reaction. So when your child misbehaves or doesn't listen, that's when your trauma response kicks in. It triggers you. You're triggered, and yelling and spanking becomes your way of trying to regain the control of the situations, because you have lost control. that incident, that situation with your child not listening to you trigger something in your brain and make your body react without you even realizing that your body has reacted, right? But the good news is this can be overcome. You can overcome this. All right. Once you understand this is a trauma, you can begin to take steps to regain control of your emotions and stop reacting out of frustrations and, from the place of the trauma, right? It's possible to break the cycle and create a healthier dynamic with your child. Now, let's dive into some key steps you can take to overcome this responses, to overcome you yelling and to respond better to your children. Number one, I have mentioned it a little bit, but that is number one thing, to recognize that this is trauma. Okay, recognize that it is trauma you're dealing with first. That's the most important thing. It's crucial to recognize that your emotional outbursts, whether it's yelling or spanking or doing silent treatment or whatever, right, are trauma responses. All right. This doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you're doing bad. I mean, the fact that you're willing to learn and do better says that, you're a good parent, right? So it just means that there are underlying issues that you need to address, not your child. Okay. And once you acknowledge this fact, you can start shifting your focus from blaming your child, to taking ownership of your own reaction and taking control of that, right? So number two is learn to be in control of your emotions. Yes, because when you're triggered, your trauma response takes over your brain and your emotions, and of course, consequently, your actions, right? So this is where the real work begins. Emotional control is the key to changing the way you respond to your child or to other situations for that matter, because trauma response is not only about, it does not only manifest in yelling and spanking your child. It's just the easiest because they are little and you can just take out your frustration on them. Trauma response can also manifest as people pleasing, as oversharing, as being unapologetic, as being over or hyper dependent. I'm an independent woman, I'm a dependent man, nobody can tell me anything. Those traits, those things that we think are personality traits, can actually be trauma responses, right? Work on your emotions. Okay, emotional control is the key to help you change how you respond to your child, right? Start paying attention to your triggers. What are the specific moments that pushes you, that's actually, you will feel it when it's coming. Actually, you will feel it. You will feel that building up, but then you feel like you cannot control it, right? You have to learn emotional, regulations to be able to regulate it. When you feel it building up, you learn steps to regulate it, right? So that's your second step, to be able to get this under control. So you want to pay attention to your triggers. What are the specific moments that builds that up in you and then eventually erupt before it eventually erupts, right? What are those moments that push you to the edge? Maybe it might be when your child doesn't listen the first time, or when they are being defiant, right? For me, I feel triggered when my child is playing while I am trying to do studies with him, and also sometimes when he acts dumb. Like, come on, that, just do it, right? I know a lot of parents feel triggered in these situations. I still feel triggered, yes, because it's an emotional thing and it's really difficult in fact, it is impossible to stop it, right? But it is possible to learn to overcome it and gain control of how you react, right? Be in charge of yourself, right? So when you feel that surge of frustration rising, just pause, take a deep breath, You can count to 10. Okay, all of those, little tricks that you're taught. I don't want to go into the details of that in this video, so that I will not be overly long because I have so many to cover already, right? So you need to find strategies. I can make another video about that. Strategies to help you calm down when you feel that. You can even walk away. This is one strategy that I use a lot. Like in the situation of, that I get triggered when my child is playing while I'm trying to do some studies with him. I just tell him, okay, you know what? We can continue this later. Mommy needs a moment. Okay? So I just walk away from the situation for a minute. And then when I come back, I am already regulated. And then we can talk about it. I tell him, when you're playing during studies, it really gets me angry. You need to stop it, except you don't want me to help you with these studies. And of course, we have handled, the studying part, and now he likes to study. So yes, he'll say, no, mommy, okay, I'm not playing again. And then we'll continue. All right. So yes, this gives your brain a moment to process the situation more rationally. When you step out of the chaos or step out of whatever situation that is triggering to you, okay, rather than reacting out of emotion, okay. And when you continue to do this over time, practicing this will help you stay calm in those chaotic, in those heated moments, and you'll be able to learn to control yourself. So yes, you need to learn that, and then we can talk about it in another time. Now, the third thing is you need to retrain your children actually to listen to you without you yelling. Because you see, all of those yelling and all of those tactics you've been using have kind of, without you knowing, train your children to not listen to you until you yell. All right. So that is why you have to retrain them to listen to you without yelling. Because let's be honest, this is one of the biggest reasons many parents yell, including myself that time. Okay, those times. No longer now, right? So this is one of the reasons parents yell. Many parents yell because your child just won't listen. Okay, it's because they feel like their kids aren't listening and all of that, so they yell. You ask them to do something, they don't respond, and then you feel that frustration building up. It's building up, and then eventually it erodes like a volcano. Then you lash out, you yell, you threaten, and all of that, right? But the truth is, yelling doesn't make your kids listen better. In fact, it often pushes them and makes them tune out even more. That's why you see that your yelling is increasing instead of decreasing. Yes, when you yell, you get their attention and they might do what you want right away, but next time you still have to yell again. Okay? So yeah, number 3 is you have to retrain your child to listen to you the first time. Okay, so let me just spill the beans here right now, right? I'm having a listen up challenge that would start on the 1st of November. We will start selling on the 15th of October. But from now till 14th, because you're my community members, right? This is only for my community members. If you pre-order before the start of sale, before 14th of October, you will get a huge discount. Okay. Now, it would originally sell for 12,500. The challenge is going to be 14 days challenge. So I'm calling this Listen Up Challenge. Get your kids to listen the first time in just 14 days. So when the regular price is going to be 12,500. We're going to have 2 weeks to process that, right? From 15th to the last day of the month, and from 15th to the last day of the month. But we're going to have early bets also. So if you buy from the from the 3rd week, you're going to buy for 8,000 naira. But if you from today till 14 pre-order, you can pay 5,000. You see, huge discounts. And this is there is a guarantee, right? If the challenge starts And 3 days in, you think that what I'm sharing with you, what I'm teaching you is nonsense. It cannot get your child to listen. You can ask for your money back. No question asked. You don't have to prove anything. You just get your money back. All right. So, as my community member, I implore you to take advantage of this pre-sale so that you can get it for 5,000. This is not open to the public. No public is paying me 5,000. No, only you, my lovelies. Okay, so once you get your child to listen to you calmly, you will notice that your frustration levels will decrease. Okay, and with this, your trigger under control, you can then focus on guiding your child in a way that supports their holistic development. You can nurture them emotionally, you can nurture them intellectually, you can nurture them psychologically, social, and nurture their mental growth and social growth, right? All right, so number 3 down. So number 4, observe yourself and identify other triggers beyond misbehavior. What else triggers your trauma response besides your child not listening and besides your child's misbehavior? Okay, identify other things that triggers that triggers that trauma response in you. It could be exhaustion, it could be stress from work, it could be feeling overwhelmed with household responsibilities, it could be something else. All right, pay attention to how these factors play out into your reaction, right? And one thing you can do to nail that down is journaling, right? Journaling can be a powerful tool here. At the end of each day, jot down moments where you felt triggered and reflect on what was the reason for that, what was beneath the surface, right? For me, I get cranky when I'm super hungry. Okay, and I'm super hungry. I'm like, please just leave me alone and all of that. Right? So because I did this step, that's why I'm able to tell you now, right? Because I know the things that triggers me, and when I'm feeling triggered, when I feel it's coming up, I think, okay, so what is causing this now? And then I'm able to check in within myself to tame that eruption from happening, right? And decide how I want to react, not letting my emotion just control my reaction, control my body. I put myself in the center and control my body, my mind, my emotions, my brain, right? And over time, if you continue to journal like this, patterns will emerge and you'll be able to, identify what is it that causes you to yell out or even take out frustration on your children as parents. Okay, so number 5 is give your children pet names. Because okay, so all of this that I've talked about is leading us on to how to handle your trauma responses, right? Now these are my secrets to help you have a shift and stop yelling, right? Give your children pet names. It is really hard for you to call somebody your love and then you're treating them anyhow. It's possible, yes, it's possible, but it's going to be really hard. It's going to trigger something in your mind that says, I should not be doing this, right? Give them pet names. I call my children my love. I call them my darling. I call them my superstar. I call them, names, any names that you like, you can call them. Give them pet names. This actually says something. That is why lovers called each other these names, because when argument arises, you know that I don't want to go that route, right? Because how can you say my love? It's not possible, right? How can you say my love? It's not possible. So, it's possible, but it just makes it a little bit harder for you to want to hear, right? So you might want to consider that. Number 6 is enable accountability. Set yourself up for success. One secret that truly One secret that really helped me overcome yelling and spanking is to bring in accountability. You know, you don't have to do it all alone, right? Make your child, your spouse, and even your friends and family your accountability partners. Tell them, I have realized it's wrong to yell and spank or punish my children, and I'm working on stopping this behavior. In fact, I make a resolution that I will not yell and I will not spank my children again. By setting up yourself like this, you make it known to other people to fact check you. You are more than likely to succeed at it, because now you don't want to seem like a failure to the people you have confided in that this is what you want to do. It's not just you telling yourself, oh, I will do better tomorrow, feeling guilty that you have messed up today, and tell yourself you'll do better tomorrow, right? You'll be more mindful and determined to stop yelling, because people are watching you, right? Especially your child. Trust me, if no one else holds you accountable, your child will. My own kids have held me accountable many times before we get to this point, right? And I can tell you it works. So after I've called my child and apologized to them for the previous yelling and everything, and then I tell them the plan going forward, that mommy will not be yelling or ever spank you again. Oh yes, another secret that I'm about to forget to tell you is call spanking, call yelling, hurting them, right? This is one word. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot that. So I'm giving you my secrets, right? Give them pet name, make your children accountability partners and other people, right? And call that hurting. Say, I will never hurt you again. I know so you will know that when you spank your child, or when you do any punitive action, you're hurting them, and you will not want to hurt people that you love, right? So you give them pet names, lovely names, and you tell them this: I don't want to be doing that to you again. I don't want to be hurting you. So when you do that, or when you threaten to do that, your child can check in with you, say, mommy, you said you will not be hurting me again. That's what my children used to do. Okay, so I call it that for them. I call it hurting them. Say, I know I've been hurting you in the past, because I believed that was the right thing to make you behave. But now I know there are other ways, and I will do better. So I will not be yelling or be hurting you anymore. So when my child is now playing during class and everything, and I said, behave yourself, because if you don't, I'm going to spank you. Say, oh, mommy, you're going to hurt me? You promise never to hurt me again. That goes into my brain and calm my body down, right? So it's actually, maybe increases your guilty and forces you to actually stop. So that's my number 3 secret. Name it, hurting them, or even some other harsher words, so that it continues to tell your brain that no, I don't want to do that to my child, right? Okay, and the more you try to quit, trying not to seem like a failure to those people that you have talked about, and allowing other people to check in with you, the more you try to quit it, the better you will get at controlling your emotions. Practice make perfection, they say, right? Or practice make improvements, they say. Okay, so the more you try, the better you will get at controlling your emotions. So you'll be yelling less, you'll be punishing less, or even that will be eliminated completely if you follow the steps that I am already giving you. And before you know it, this new approach to parenting will become your second nature, right? You find that the more you practice, the sooner yelling and spanking will disappear from your parenting toolbox altogether. Because it doesn't even work in the first place. It just creates more tension between you two. Okay, so number 7. This is the last one. Number 7. My secret number 4. Okay. My secret number 4 is the number 7 on the list, is to imagine for a second that your child isn't yours. I know. I know it sounds hard, right? It sounds crazy. Like, how would I imagine that my child is not mine? But let me explain this. This simple mindset, can actually transform the way you parent. Think about it. Think about how we treat, things that are ours. Maybe clothes, your shoes, your cars, your homes, your furnitures, or whatever. We tend to get a little careless with them because it is ours. We own them. We can do whatever we want. Nobody's checking. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. All right. We might just toss our shoes around or not care too much about, every little scratch on our cars because, well, it's ours. Okay. We can treat it however we want and no one is going to complain. You can do whatever you want with it, all right? It's yours. It's yours. All right? But let's flip that around. So, what happens when something belongs to someone else? This is what happens. You become more cautious. You become more careful. All right? So, that is why I said just imagine that your children aren't yours and you find out you become more cautious, more respectful, and more careful with them. You would want to treat them with respect because it's not yours to mishandle. This same principle can apply to how we treat our kids. Okay? So let's put this in perspective so you understand what I mean. When we think of our kids as ours, we might feel like we have the right to yell, to spank, or discipline them however we deem fit. They are our kids after all, right? Of course they are. And disciplining them is our responsibility. And taking care of them is also our responsibility. So whatever you do with your children, they're your children. You have all the right to do that. But when it's someone else's child, we are often way more patient and understanding. Imagine if you're visiting a friend's house and their child misbehaves. How do you respond? Chances are you're much more lenient with them. You might even tell the parents, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it." Even though you would have reacted more harshly if that was your child doing the same thing. But because that child is not yours, you are more understanding, you are more lenient, you are more careful with the other child. So make the shift. Treating your child like someone else's is going to help you treat your child better. Your relationship will be better, and you'll see your children will begin to thrive even better. So, one of the things I started doing to break free from yelling and harsh reaction is to mentally shift and see my children like they are not mine. They belong to somebody else, and this person they belong to, I hold in high esteem. I know it sounds strange, I know, but here is a practical way to make it real. Let me put it in a real life perspective to you. Imagine your boss or someone else that you respect, that you want to impress. Okay? Imagine that this person has to go away for like a month and leaves their children with you. And they told you before leaving, please take care of my children, teach them respect, help them, with their homework, make sure they do well on their upcoming tests. Maybe they're having a test coming up in a week or whatever, right? If I come back and my kids have learned all these things, I'll give you a huge reward. Let's say $10,000 or whatever amount of money that excites you. Put it in the blank. Okay, maybe 10,000 is small for you to want to extra careful to earn that reward. Put whatever, 1 million, $10 million, whatever. Put or a mansion or half whatever fortune that this person have. You know how they used to tell us those stories that whoever whichever villager wins a wrestling and marries the prince would marry the princess and get fortune and get half of the fortune of the king, right? That's something to motivate you to want to do the impossible. So put that in the blank. What is that thing that excites you, that would make you want to try the impossible, that would make you want to do the impossible? Put it there. Now think about it. If your boss's children were staying with you, you couldn't shout at them or spank them. You would have to handle their behavior with patience and respect. You're going to treat this child better while also doing everything you can to make sure that the child succeed at the things that you're supposed to teach them and pass their test and behave right and all of that, right? So you're going to teach them everything they need to know, guide them with love and care, and help them thrive without losing your cool, isn't it? Because you know the price. The price will be ringing in your head like, oh yeah, right? Now, let's apply that to your own kids. What if you started treating your kids like that? What if you started treating your kids like they were your boss's kids? What if you started to work with your child to be successful and you get a huge reward if they learned respect, did well in school, and developed the skills that they need? All the while knowing that you cannot yell at them or spank them because you respect their parents. You wouldn't raise your voice. You wouldn't spank them. You'll find more constructive ways to guide and discipline them because you know that the reward awaits you, okay, at the end of the day. And because you know that if you spank them, if you yell at them, that can tune them out, that can make them even more defiant and make working with you to achieve their success even more difficult. So you want to stay away from that. You want to find more constructive way to get them to do the needful. Now, the reward isn't necessarily cash in real life in this situation, okay? But the reward is even better. A stronger, healthier relationship with your child and a home filled with peace and respect while your children are thriving. It is achievable. You just have to follow these steps religiously. Religiously. And don't forget to sign up for the Listen Up Challenge. Okay? Because this one particular piece is going to take away a lot of the burden on you. All right? It's going to take a lot of the burden on you because when your children begin to listen, you feel how your frustration level goes down. So by imagining that your children are not yours, imagining that they're children of somebody that you really hold in high esteem, you will take away that sense of entitlement that we sometimes feel as parents. Okay? The sense of entitlement that we feel to act anyhow we want because we think, yeah, it's our thing, it's our children, we can do whatever we want. That's, in fact, only that entitlement mentality is a major problem. So when you begin to think like that, like, oh, these children, I need to be careful with them because I respect their parents and I want them to actually comply with me so that we can achieve the results for them and I can get my reward. Okay. So if you take away that entitlement, you would become more intentional, more patient, more focused on helping them grow in the right way. And the ultimate reward is a happier, more connected relationship with your children and children that have all it takes to thrive. All right. So the next time you feel uh, yourself getting frustrated, remember, treat your kids like they are in yours. And you see just how much your parenting can change for the better. If this um, if this mindset resonates with you, I encourage you to try it out and let me know how it goes. I mean, I took my time to make this long talking video with you. I think that it is not too much to ask for your feedback. Write it in a comment, like my video to encourage me to do more for you. All right. And if there is something, if you have a question or another concern that you would like me to address, put it in the comment section. All right. And I would get to it. Don't forget to like this video, share it with other people. This will be really useful for parents that still yells at their children and know that they don't want to do that. Okay, parents that don't want to do that but they feel like they don't know what else to do, this is going to help them. I'm not talking about parents that would justify their action. Oh, no, that's not what I'm talking about. So share this with people that you know would appreciate it, and subscribe for more parenting tips and advice, because here on this channel it's all about making parenting easy peasy, because parenting is not hard. It's not. I used to think it is too, but now I know better, and I'm about to teach you how to make it better, right? So remember, you can break the cycle. Okay, parenting doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a battle of emotions. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to frustrate you. All right, by understanding that your reactions are driven by deeper, often subconscious trauma responses, you can start taking the steps to regain control. It is possible, and every small steps you take brings you closer to the parent that you truly want to be, the parent your child deserves. The parent that your child deserves. So remember to give yourself grace in this process. You are always, doing good work by seeking out ways to improve, right? It is great that you're seeking out ways to improve. I applaud you for that. I celebrate you, and your children are so lucky to have you as their parents. Keep going, keep learning, and most importantly, keep showing up for your kids with love and patience. They thank you for it, and you'll feel more connected than ever. If you find this helpful, again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next. See you later.